Tuesday 30 April 2023. I think that is the fourth conversation with the International Criminal Court. We had the issue before with the American judicial power and the British judicial power and the European system, considering the entire European judicial power, and also the Asian. The corruption for sure affect we all. The complaint against has legitimacy to be made in any judicial system, and the decision against requires at least one judge not linked with the organized crime, as transcontinental architecture is based on corruption. Show business phase 3, we could observe those patterns. We will let the issues and the conversations at the blog. Please take a look at the court. We will not take your time or spend our time for nothing. We are here to charge 37 trillion, the payroll flowing as factory 1% of first 3 trillion plus all cases, at my share 33 billions, and having 3 boats set with the criminals inside based on corruption in transcontinental level, threatening the mankind, committing humanity crime, cultural destructions, annihilations, and others. There are no excuse to do not have 3 both on neutral areas jurisdiction, which is the overseas, and both at least one, with the requirement to this court recognize this right. It's not about a judicial power, because this court do not represent any state, but all signed at the international agreement that set the legitimacy of this court. To respect this court until the moment this court do not deserve respect anymore. We will observe that we had a talk in the past saying, please stop with the interference on 2018 and come until this time on 2023 with this kind of behavior that started with an advice, a complaint, and then we start to cry, please stop with the interference, because we are having our life here and the development of things, the creation, the optimization. And if you research, you observe that this movement started indeed on 2014. At this time, since 2018, I can play my video game, I can listen some music, I can do nothing. During all this period, that is almost 10 years, we are doing the development here of things in the way you approve. It's notorious, it's used against this criminal system. The information that she got stolen and the violating of rights, as you can observe, has an increasement, and the increasement of violation implies the decreasement of legitimacy to the system. Doing this have the continuity at the doing, which is a wrongdoing, and it's proved also by 0 as the very first complaint. Then we had 3 trillion up to 33 trillion. We suggest the financial penalty with other judicial power disrespected equally 37 trillion. This movement systematic, there are no aleatory movement, it's intentional, incremental and continuous. Comes from the violation of my basic rights at privacy, for instance, until the life. Since I'm a consumer, threatening you all, annihilation is a real fact. First thing we will have on mind. The second thing, we observe that here I was doing the development of things, industrial, economic espionage, plus industrial crimes. Because doing all this inside my private living, we have the harassment by the same institutions acting by the wrongdoing and defaulting this court at the international guarantee number 33 on Article 5 in Brazil. We never defaulted this court until this time and boosted and entrusted the legitimacy to this court act against the pandemic crime. The other thing that we have in mind is that those institutions globally talking, with failures inside, unable to fix the internal fail, which leads to the internal control, and the basis of this, the human resources and hiring process. Of course, that we got the point. The hiring process is the entry door for criminals inside institutions. We will observe that the thing we must have in mind is that I'm here, a big star. I talk with the institutional power that must talk with the criminal group that is a piece of shit. And here we will have the institution as a big box with the antitrust justice, with the UK judicial power plus Europe, and the international court that has kind of the elements of them all. We are talking with this structure for application as consequence against this piece of shit clustered from Brazil public budget, which implies all institutions by criminals inside have decisions from the top defaulting even this court. Then we will check that during the pandemic thing as COVID-19, people couldn't walk around and have a lot of contracts at big tech companies modified, kind of setting no obligation or responsibility at these companies, but was told at that time, if you do this and violate guarantees, this clause is null. The problem that we observe for sure is the physiological element to allow the interaction and the interconnection in a transcontinental level cut from the very first moment as budget or financial system. We observe that bigger than this is for sure the communication, which implies the big tech. At this area here, we are kind of having the operations between financial and using the communication, especially the COVID involving all governments that has nowadays the special concern as regulation, considering the big tech. And the relation between communication and financial system indeed sets here a situation named fintech, which are the crimes perpetrated at the financial system using the World Wide Web. We observe that the institutions trying to do the regulation has no internal control, do not have the self-regulation about their own wrongdoings. In the same way, occupying the government, we will misguide the tax system, and the tax system will be used to supply the needs of the criminal groups, transferring money, hikes, or call in the way you'd like to call. All central banks on it, all unable to offer a single and trusted and reliable information today, April 30, 2023, Sunday. This space here, people can talk. It's part of the communication. And we for sure have something related or unveiled from the financial system, which is the credit. And instruments boosting this credit, setting the level as coverage of regular thing as fintech and something here named the cryptocurrency, leading to bad system, sports, big stars, overpriced contracts, and a lot of things that you can talk and have issued on your social media. since you do not got silenced by abusive orders perpetrated by criminal groups on institutions. Then there are no reason to do not have them, to have an excuse and avoid put them all inside 3 boats and bomb at least one. We're counting with you, International Criminal Court. We will observe that now we will understand how bad is the situation of the citizen around the globe, globally talking, unveil the global situation of institutions that present themselves very reliable as observed in the pattern. For instance, when you have your machine and inside your machine a lot of architectures and partitions operating things, and in the end saying that's you, but indeed it's not you but something else by different color, and using the Fibonacci analysis we will have clear that the global situation as institution probably has a lot of things happening inside, but if they kind of have a shield, there's a firewall by fake records to considering this would do a simulation or a holographic projection of this thing here. Right? And guess what? It's not black, it's red. But if it's red, the situation will be like this. If it's not black, and also it's not red, it's red and black, indeed we have the combination of both as a third interest related with, using our Venn diagram, quite simple to get those criminals and have them inside the bowl with at least one bomb. The systematic behavior is not aleatory, it's intentional, and you are defaulting on things, have no guts to assume your mistakes because you are a criminal. By identity, we will have the traditional model used by us to put them down and charge the paycheck 37 trillion, my humble share with case on it, considering the interference on contracts if confirmed and accepted by the judicial powers all in the court. We will have the A and understand that inside the A, now blocking, destroying the firewall as fake records by the holographic thing, we had the A as corruption inside. And the A, corruption inside, it's not the A. Indeed, it's something B. We will have the A messy thing and something else. Quite simple to get. The most relevant thing to end our conversation, very simple, very crude, very primal, but unfortunately the reason to charge the harassment case with the economic espionage and all consequences applied against those criminal offenders. We are here, us, charging things, complaining and avoiding the regulation of our lives by criminal groups unable to do the self-regulation of themselves since they have drug dependence and a lot of things on hedonism, illegal, diverting money and steal our time to supply their needs as physiological needs. The conversation with the level as courts, it is a structure having the antitrust justice, the US judicial power, the UK judicial power, and the International Criminal Court that will talk with the piece of shit integrated as a system of big shit, the criminal system. Here I have kind of no problem to present not especially as a single creditor, but the interest has kind of a projection. You can research their projection. I have the open data. If they didn't, you can request this to be open and the limit limits of the issues requested. And here we have, guess what? A lot of things that go since from the corruption until to the use of criminal status for criminal purpose. They have a lot of things. We will have a lot of, arguments about the same thing, saying crap nothing at all. So, why do you have to waste time with this? If they couldn't present things and having the systematic advice ignored, why do you consider that they will respect you? The logic in any presentation of punishment was the advice made to stop, please. They continued until this time by the behavior and risk present by them. The paycheck, which is a compensation, not a punishment yet, but having the individualization of them all from institutions. Advice, they was advising. Now we will consider and they can't be advised anymore. It's an empty ball, but having the bolts as bomb, that bolts at least one. In other words, to discard considering the capital punishment against the offender, at least consider, allow, and trust, for instance, the officers at the Federal Bureau of Investigation to act in cases they are required to do this, since they had the internal control of criminal groups inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The same thing at others. Brazil is not part of the game, it's part of the criminal system. So, quite simple to get. 70 minutes. I wish you a great holiday. It's an international holiday, but it will be online for sure.